Let me know if y'all can hear me now. I think I ended up switching it up. We love when things don't work when they need to work. Let me know if this is working now. If that's going, we're going to keep it going. If it's not, I'll do something else. But we love having having these issues as they go. Is there any sound right now? Let me know. Because I've been trying to fix it. There we go. Good to know. Appreciate y'all. Okay, so let's restart this whole shindig, right? So since I'm being heard now for the first time, let me really dig into what this new moon in Cancer like truly is about. Can you live in your world while honoring the true parts of how you feel? I think we get taught as a society, as a collective, to very much not let ourselves feel through our feelings. I can say, just as a matter of fact, of being a male in society, we get taught not to particularly feel through our emotions. Most men get taught in general that we're supposed to get up, keep it moving. You're still supposed to get the money. You're still supposed to do this. Screw your health. Screw how you're feeling. And a lot of us start to internalize that over time. To be very honest, that's part of the reason why it's so difficult for a lot of men, specifically straight men, to like believe in astrology or spirituality or anything else, because a lot of these healing modalities have to get us to the core of what's really going on. Meanwhile, a lot of the times the core that we get taught is so far removed, right, that is really hard to relate to at a later date. And when it comes to this, right, and it's not just men, this is for people in general, because there's so many people just across the world that don't get to express how they fully feel. And part of it has to do with how you're brought up, right? There are some families who are excellent. They have a lot of emotional support and stability, but those families are typically a dime a dozen. And I do know that there's a huge motion and movement now, especially within people who are younger and they have children and they're trying to break the generational curses. They're trying to break the generational trauma. They're trying to make sure that the babies of the new world, as they are being born, are coming into a world where they are being supportive, where we are being mindful of how they're feeling in this process. The reason why all these things are so important is because this new moon in Cancer wants to remind you of the power of what you feel and wants to tell you about these core and integral processes that, although there's a lot of trouble in the world, although there's a lot of crazy things that happen on the news every single day, no matter what you look at, right? How do we really start to embrace what is not necessarily easily understood? The reason why we typically demonize emotions in general, so to speak, is because it's like we can't control them. And this world is all about what we can kind of control. And so it's weird because you think about it and it's like, well, no, like emotions are just like, they're just feelings. They're fleeting. It's like, to be honest with y'all, every single product that ever gets marketed to us, no matter what, the main thing that they're looking for is how is this going to impact them emotionally, right? Because if we all, as a collective, as a society, really just felt good about ourselves, like truly and utterly, if we all felt like just good about ourselves, and no matter how we come across things in the world, we just felt good about us, there would not be a singular product that we would ever buy from anywhere, right? There wouldn't be anything that we would look at. There'd be nothing that we would kind of like yearn for. It would just everything would just kind of be regular. I would doubt this would even be a process. I would doubt that there's something really important to the core part of like desire, about emotions, about joy, about sadness, about anger. All of these emotions are honestly like factors of human motivation. And most of the time when it comes to the greatness of like human excellence in general, it's always stemmed from someone saying, hey, I felt this way and I did this to go change that. And when we look at it that way, it's like, oh, wow, yeah, honoring your emotions is the easiest thing, right? But it's still difficult because And someone said, like, emoting is not politically correct. And that's true. And everyone's like, there's a time and place for everything. So like when people are crying outside, it's not something that's like good, even though they could be crying tears of joy. You have no idea. Like there's so many. And when I'm explaining this, it's really even hard to pinpoint one specific emotion because there's a pool of things. The Cancer energy represents the ocean, represents the waves, right? And every day we have a high tide and every day we have a low tide. There's a time frame where the water is trying to almost merge with the land. It is coming through fierce. It will take people under if it really wants to. You know, if you're walking along like near the shore of the beach, depending on what beach you're on, it can like really just come to like grab you, even if you're just taking a nap on the beach or something. High tide is reckless. It is the ocean really letting itself move through what it's feeling. It's mighty. But then there's low tide. And when there's low tide, like things are more chill. Things are more serene. They're a little more calm. Things get to like kind of strip back in terms of what they're trying to, push out into the world. And I think that's what makes this new moon in Cancer so interesting, is because we're really going to figure out during this new moon in Cancer exactly how we feel about a lot of things. And if you've been someone who's been ignoring your emotion, if you've been someone who's been like, oh, how I feel doesn't matter, I'm gonna let you know right now. Yes, it does. And the more you think it's not, the more it's about to come up. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all being here. Thank you for pulling up. Thank you for tuning in with me today. I'm really excited to break this down. I have been super busy in the last bit, being more on my creative tip in the last while. It's been really fun to kind of get out there, have a lot of fun with the camera, meet some new creatives and people and such like that. And I've been doing that in between my readings and working on a bunch of production things that I have moving on in the future. But right now is all about the astrology. And I wanted to go live before we hit the 4th of July and all that, because like y'all might be busy with your families tomorrow, which ironically, new moon in Cancer. You're going to hang out with your families, or you might be around just people that you care about. Maybe you go see the fireworks. Maybe you go do whatever, right? But the day afterward is when the new moon in Cancer really does sink in. And when that new moon in Cancer really does sink in, after the fireworks, after the booms go off, after the great cheer, things get really quiet. Things get really quiet. And I'm going to be so real with y'all. I think if you're out on the 4th of July, you might run into certain events or certain moments that spearhead that emotional conversation that you're going to probably have with yourself over the course of the weekend and beyond. So why is all this happening? Why is all this going on? The new moon in Cancer wants you to figure out who's your soul family, who's your chosen family, as someone mentioned, and who is like really those who you want to be around in good cheer. Like what makes you comfortable is the main question. Who makes you comfortable? Are there people that are around you who allow you to like fully be yourself? Are you allowing them to be themselves, right? This is one of those questions. And mind you, usually I'm very sharp about like what I'm saying in terms of these readings. Usually I'm very sharp about like, this is so specific. But as you can hear, everything that I've been even saying when I explain this Cancer energy is like a little bit like wishy-washy. And that's not to point at that out about like Cancers in any negative way at all. But it's just like, there's such a fluctuation of highs and lows that are kind of constantly happening. And so when we get to this new moon in Cancer and there's this rebirth of the moon, I mentioned that earlier, but I couldn't hear me. So what I was saying before when I first started this was the new moon in Cancer is when the moon gives birth back to itself. That happens every new moon, but because Cancer is ruled by the moon, this is really a decision on how to move things forward. I was actually in a class earlier this morning. Yes, I am a professional astrologer and I still go to classes anyway. Just because like I like to brush up on things, even if it's something I already know and I know like the back of my hand, there's still like, oh, that's a new freckle, there's still something else that you can kind of get from things. And even if I learn just one other additional thing or hear one other additional thing that has things set off, I'll pop up to it, and I love the game, you know. But in terms of that, I was in a class today, which was about the IC. It was with Deborah Silverman, my mentor, who I had met last year, 2 years ago. No, some change. But when I met her, there was a instantaneous kind of connection. And I'm saying this intrinsically just because, like, there's certain people that you meet in this world and y'all just kind of like bond. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, you could be from different walks of life. You could be from different cultures, different tax brackets, different economics. It doesn't really matter. There's certain people that just based off of their vibration, based off the energy alone, you just kind of come together and you like collide through. And I had met them at a time frame where I was honestly very in a rut about my work. I went to go be a full-time astrologer after leaving behind bartending for a bit. And I'm gonna be so transparent with y'all. I really was just like ready to kind of quit. I've been doing this for, I want to say 5 years. I've had my highs and lows. I've had time frames where I've been like, wow, I keep getting readings. I've gotten a reading almost every day for an entire month, and it's been wonderful. Then I've had those other time frames where it's like I don't get as much consistency, and there is an uncertainty that's behind that. And at the time, I ended up just saying, screw this. I quit my job because I was being a little bit disrespected based off of just what was going on. And I was like, well, this is my time frame to either take astrology all the way, or this is what's going to not work out. And that was an emotive choice. That was a very like emotional choice. Like I never walked out of a job the way I did when I left that last bartending job. But I was like, yo, y'all are disrespecting me to a point where like, I can't deal with this. I can't come into work every day and let myself feel like this. I don't like to feel like my time's getting wasted. I felt like my time was getting wasted. I didn't feel like there was a sense of community that was going to be there. Community is really important in terms of how people are productive. I didn't think that I would feel like there would be something for me to grow with in terms of where I was at. And astrology has been something that no matter how much I've tried to avoid or to pivot around, is something I'm good at. I'm good at it. It speaks to my soul. I'm able to help thousands of people a year. You know, last year I ended up reaching millions. I forgot the exact count, but I reached like millions of people just through like memes and me talking and making videos, figuring more out about like higher scale production things. And I'm still working on these things in this process. But why am I mentioning this all to you? Because every single thing that I mentioned to you since that last bit, I found through being more in touch with my feelings. And when I was going through my stint, when I was going back to astrology school before I got certified as an astrologer with my mentor and had things moving since then, I wasn't in touch with my emotions like that before. I didn't know how to recognize them. I didn't think I know how to recognize them, and that's through me having to, a lot of times, even when I was younger, kind of just toughen up, right? Getting back to the first part I was saying, where a lot of times men don't even know how to use their emotions or utilize them because like we don't get taught how to. We get taught to avoid them or ignore them or, hey, this doesn't make that happen. And so the reason why I'm explaining this again is because this is all an emotive process, right? My logical brain was like, this is the dumbest thing that you've probably ever done, right? Like you're over here scraping by. All you had to do was pick something up. All you had to do was do this for like 2 more years, and then you could finally live your dreams. All you had to do was like just quit on what you were aiming for, and then you could start to live that thing. And that's where I want to point out to you, this new moon in Cancer is going to show you the truth behind what you're capable of doing when you choose to follow your intuition, when you choose to like be in touch with your emotions, when you choose to pick community, and when you choose to nurture yourself, and when you choose to like know what makes your soul comfortable. And it's not going to look perfect. And that's what I have to explain to y'all. A lot of people are like, oh, I would love to do this thing, but everything has to be perfect first, right? There's a reason why when I highlight these parts of my career, I'm only doing this just to show y'all like there's a lot that goes behind all of these aspects, right? When I first got onto this live stream, people were like, yo, I can't hear anything, right? That a few years back would have thrown me into a tizzy. I would have been so mad. Now I'm like, oh, okay, 1 second. Here we go, right? And this is where I want to kind of point this out when it gets to this new moon in Cancer, is that your emotional intelligence is going to start to be tested, is the wrong term, but it is going to start to become a highlight. Are you able to be more emotionally intelligent than just completely logically intelligent? Because like there's this need for the soul to like experience these experiences, right? Everyone's soul is quote unquote a slayer, so to speak, right? To where it's like we all have or want or we there's certain points to ourselves where we have desires. We have desires. We want things. We like things, right? One thing about humans is that we just like stuff. And I'm one of those people who also like stuff. And one thing about this new moon in Cancer is that it is going to point out something to you between what's up with your material world and what's good with the world that's underneath that, right? And so with all the changes that have been happening, with Saturn going retrograde in Pisces, with Neptune going retrograde in Pisces, we're all being invited to actually go within. What are you made of? What is the portion of you that wants to express itself? One of the most important key factors to all things creative, to all things art, is that this is someone expressing a feeling that they had. And maybe they don't have the right words for it, but you could put it into a painting. Maybe you don't know how to draw, but you can take the picture that invokes that feeling, right? One of the things that we really like end up rocking with, tapping into, is that we really need to learn how to better express ourselves. And expression can only happen once we accept the situations in which we're in. If we accept the emotional seat in which we're dealing with, which, to be honest with you, is part of the reason why meditation is so important, why yoga practice is so important, why working out is so important. We have so many feelings that we deal with on a day-to-day basis that we gotta move them through, right? We have to find an outlet. You have to find something else, because if you are dealing with the world that we are in 2024, and you're on your phone and you're checking you're checking the news, you're checking social media, you're checking Instagram, everything in this world is designed to make you feel like crap. And I need y'all to understand that. There are things that are designed to make you not feel good. Right? Hey, like this person is making thousands of dollars off of their social media account every day. You could do this too. It's like it's playing to your FOMO. It's playing to your fear of missing out, which a lot of people have. That's the way that things have been geared towards that. And so I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy things. I'm not saying you shouldn't like things. I'm not saying you shouldn't invest in yourself or do things that are like good or just make you feel good. But then again, what I just have to say in that process, feel, right? You've done the best things in your life ever because you just felt like it. And you have done some of the worst things or the most unproductive things in your life. Why? Because you felt like it. And the idea when it comes to all of the feelings, whether that be the highest joy or the lowest low, is that we do have to feel through what's going on. And that's part of the human experience. The Buddha and I believe it's the Eightfold Path, I need to get a direct quote on this, but it was saying that all life was suffering. And so we have to completely like feel through and move through. And then we find that sense of peace. Then we're able to tap into a deeper sense of joy, which is a feeling, a deeper sense of happiness, which is a feeling. But first we might have to go through that mad, which is a feeling, or that sad, which is a feeling. And someone just said low vibrational. They were talking, I'm sure, about the part that I was mentioning before. So you have to feel a certain part of a low vibrational frequency to understand what a high vibrational frequency feels like too. We're all in this experience together. We are all experiencing something different in terms of how the world's working, in terms of what we get impacted on, in terms of our own stars and how they're playing out in the grand scale of what's going on. But what we can do and what we can let ourselves do is to allow ourselves to trust in the process, to feel through those highs and lows, to feel through what is happening in the world. And then once you figure out what you feel with that, what are you going to do next? Are you going to continue the same things that have been making you hit a downfall? Or are you going to start approaching the world in a way that makes you feel better, that gives you on the up and up, right? So when it gets to the concept of this new moon in Cancer, we're getting right back to the astrology. You have the chance and the opportunity to nurture yourself in such a way that the people that you've always wanted around you, the soul group that you're probably looking for, that sense of community that you've always been needing, because guess what? There's a reason why people have been tribal throughout every single age. In every century, in every age, there are tribes of people. There are groups of people. There are, crews, whatever. Like people need one another. No matter how, whatever. Like my literal nickname is Maverick. It means individual, unorthodox. I don't want to deal with nothing. And guess what? Even a Maverick has to have people that's around in order for things to like keep moving on. And although I might lean towards my independence, I do have dependable people that end up like helping out that emotional state for me to be able to pop up and then do what I do to help y'all who are also my people, right? So this is the whole concept to where it's like all of these things kind of feed to one another, right? And if everybody at the table gets fed, then everybody has a chance to win. But everybody has different needs. People have different dietary needs. People have different everything else. If you go to the 4th of July party tomorrow and you have a cookout with your family, and everybody at that cookout knows that you went vegan because you felt that, oh my God, when I eat, let's say meat, when I eat meat, no diddy, no fight. No, but for real. But it's like if I eat meat or if I have like something that's like an animal product and I literally feel bad about it, and then I think about what goes on in order for that to even start in the first place, that's a perfect and legitimate reason as to why someone can choose that lifestyle, because it makes them feel like they're doing better in this world. And so when you do go to a cookout and everyone knows that you're vegan and the only thing out on that thing is just hot dogs, or, oh, there's some corn on the cob, but like, yeah, we boiled it in the same hot dog water. So whatever, like you're going to feel ostracized. You're going to feel like the odd one out. There's a reason why back in a day in certain civilizations, if the state or if the civilization itself thought that you were outside of the bounds of what they thought was okay, they would exile you. And what would happen when you were exiled? You got cut off from everything that had to do with, let's say, your homeland. And that was one of the biggest disgraces, because you only know your village, right? When you've watched movies before where people have been like, you have been cast out. You are no longer allowed to be here. You are cast out. You are exiled. As a matter of fact, I'm actually thinking about it's the Prince of Egypt. It's the Prince of Egypt. It was an old cartoon film which was going through the story of Moses. And in the film, and I remind you, I haven't seen this in years, but like in the film itself, one of the things that ended up going on is that when Moses, his brother, came to power, or he got exiled or he walked away. But once he walked away, they said, you can never come back to this land, right? And there's such an emotive world that happens with that, because it's like, yo, I thought this was a place where I belong. We are all longing and yearning and trying to figure out where do we fit in when it comes to this world. And sometimes the world that you're looking for isn't every single person that exists. Sometimes it's 5 people. Sometimes it's 2 people. Sometimes it's just a couple of your friends. Sometimes it's your actual family. Sometimes you might not even rock with your family, but there's somebody that care about you and you care about somebody else. And this new moon in Cancer is trying to show you that, like, that care, that feeling, that truth, that if you've ever been dealing with something wrong, correction, let me take 2 steps back. If you've ever been dealing with something like serious or severe or something that hurts or like anything else like that, and you ever got like a really good hug from somebody, you ever notice how all of that you were just carrying starts to float away? All the stuff that was holding you down and making you feel that just starts to like dissipate with a really good hug. That's just somebody showing that they care about you. But how much alchemy and transmutation can happen in just that one feeling, in just that one instance. So when it comes to this new moon in Cancer, we're having a trine with this over to Saturn that just went retrograde in Pisces. And Saturn retrograde in Pisces is trying to show people, just in a quick bit, that like you can achieve your dreams, but you have to know the work that's behind it. You have to put in the work in that process. It's one thing to be like, hey, I'm an astrologist. Another thing for me to do readings and look at charts every day for the last 10 years of my life and then say that, right? Now, does that mean that you can't start to claim something else in the process? No, but the idea with this is that it's like, you're going to be guided by your feelings in this next upcoming weekend. And I need you to let you know this, because you might be upset. Some people are going to be upset. I'm just going to be straightforward with you. You might be upset and you might not even know why. If you know someone that has a Cancer sun, moon, rising, you may notice with them that sometimes they're just like mad, or there's something that happens in their emotional response, maybe 10 times greater than what maybe you have done, or 10 times less than what you would have felt. But their emotional pool, the way that they're relating to that, is so much deeper sometimes. And they need a second to figure out how to go about the waves of life, to know, are they on high tide? Are they on low tide? You might talk to them one day, they're feeling this way. 2 days later, they're feeling a different way. Guess what? So does the moon. It's the reason why every day starts to feel different. The reason why every like 2-3 days, there's a different change that's in the air. This is what all of these things have to do with. And at the end of the day, the moon rules around 60 to 80%, because every time I hear this quote, someone changes the percentage. So I'm just going to round it. Human beings are between 60 and 80% water. Water has impacts from the moon. The moon in astrology rules our emotions. We are emotional creatures and beings. Now, your moon sign will tell you what type of emotion that is, right? I will be doing a moon class before the end of this Cancer season, and that might be my last master class, to be honest. To be transparent, I'm really trying to transition into having an official website again, and to do a couple of things a little bit more polished, because I have definitely been just kind of everything I've done thus far has been strictly off the vibe alone. So I want to be able to be in a position to give you all more consistency, and as my world in the creative space and such starts to grow, I want to be able to set a few days aside strictly for y'all, strictly to break these concepts down. And I want to be able to make it so y'all get the best of information, because despite of my generosity, so to speak, with like these live streams, I know I go harder when I have classes, because then I'm like, here's the thing up, here's the little PowerPoint, here's like the whole point, right? Like that's, but just like, you know, on some just transparency tip. And sidebar, one of the easiest ways to like really honor your feelings is by being transparent, right? It's like, I think we spend so much time trying to hide how we all feel from one another that by the time we do tell someone how we feel, we just feel like I'm naked. Oh no. I just told them that I like them. Oh my gosh. Like, and granted, like this is I'm not coming at anybody, right? It took me a very long time in my life to even just like tell my friends that like I love them. Which sounds crazy, but it's like people hold a lot of wounds. People deal with so many things throughout their life. So now it's like it's important for me to make sure my friends know that I love them. It's important for me to give credit to where it's due for people who are doing something that's great or I respect or I have like any sort of feeling for, right? I know, like, for example, like just on some transparency tip again, it's one of those things to where it's like I was having trouble kind of like getting back into the world of fitness and like working out and honoring my body, because there was a time frame in my life where I was in immaculate shape. I like 8-pack, whole nine, was looking good. But the idea behind that was like it was coming from a very bad space. You know what I mean? It was coming from a place of self-loathing. When I was working out, I was trying to like it was a dark thing. It wasn't like I wasn't doing it because I wanted to improve my health or whatever else. It was like if I don't look good, nobody will love me. Like it was that deep. And I know I'm not the only person in the world to deal with something like that. And I know y'all might see me now and be like, oh my God, I love the hair. And like, oh my God, you're so confident. It's like, yeah, and that's because I've dealt with all the emotional ruts on the way. I had an emotional rut last week. If I gotta cry, I'm just finna cry. Like there's importance to like honoring the way that those things work, because all emotions pass, all feelings pass, all hard times pass. But the more we can honor how we feel about those times, the easier it is for us to navigate the world. The easier it is to like approach the world with grace. The easier it is to like honestly manifest the things that we truly desire. And a lot of us in general, this is my personal take and my philosophy on this, but it's like everybody in this world is just looking for a reason to feel loved or looking for a way to feel loved. And when you honor your emotions long enough, you really do get to learn to love yourself. You do get to learn how to love those parts of you that maybe you don't fully comprehend. And when you do all of that work, when you are being transparent with yourself, and that's the other side. Can you be honest with yourself of how you feel? Can you? Because if you can, more power to you. But if you can't, there's always time and room to learn in that process. So just wanted to let you know. Just wanted to put that out there for you real quick, you know. Give y'all a little bit of time frame for that. And yeah, I just realized to myself that I high-key forgot to put my right battery pack into this camera. So we're going to see how that works in this process. I'm going to keep it rolling. So just want to let you know, to be fair, I do a lot of stuff interim that kind of takes 2 or 3 people to be on. And I do it myself because that's just who I am as a person. But appreciate all y'all for popping in, checking this out. I haven't gotten to read everything yet because I've been just trying to get back into the spirit. Thank y'all for rocking through with me. But yeah, yes, lock, say less. No sound. You can hear me now though. English sucks for articulating emotions. It absolutely does. It's not the best thing. Like, it's not the best way to go about it. We haven't found an alternative unless you just know different languages. But yes, the English language is not built for truly understanding emotions. And sometimes it's just about like sitting next to somebody who gets it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's just like, does this person get it? Cool. So definitely something to point out. Okay, cool. I'm the her and hermit. I love everybody, but from a safe and loving distance. I don't blame you. Shoot. The man, I appreciate the love. Truly, truly, truly. But yeah, there's so many things that are just like coming up with this new moon in Cancer. And I want to let you know that this is a time frame where you might be triggered, but can you let yourself feel triggered and still know that things are going to be okay? Can you let yourself feel a little bit off for a bit, but then like bounce back to it? These are the kind of like ideas and things that I see popping up throughout this new moon in Cancer. So just wanted to let y'all know. Just wanted to be like transparent, give y'all some context, X, Y, and Z, because that's really what's going on in terms of this, right? So here's what we about to do. Let me double check because I know the battery's about to be tripping. Oh, it's on 2%. Excellent. So I'm going to do something real quick that I haven't done. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, that sucks too. But I'm going to try to hot swap this. I do not recommend anybody do this ever. But once I do that, I'm going to hop into the rest of the readings and I'm going to start pulling for all the signs. If anybody else has any questions about this new moon in Cancer, feel free to drop it in the description briefly, but I'm going to just take care of that so we can hop right back into the rest of the stream and knock this all out. So one sec, y'all. Yeah, I know I don't match right now. I'm in my crib. Leave me alone. So here we go. Now on to the second part. I like this was an accidental take on the break in between, but let's start to hop in. Let's get to this next part. Okay. And let's grab these done cards. So what do we all need to know for this new moon in Cancer that we are approaching right now? What do we need to know? What do we need to find out with? Actually, my good friend Autumn, I hope you're doing well. She said, overly emotional. Why? Now, let's actually pull some cards because I want to explain this in terms of this Cancer season, right? Much love. There are lives and then there's a chat live. You're not wrong. I appreciate you. Because the way that I do this is I'm like, I feel like I do my lives like I would if we were like actually in person. I just can't see all of y'all, so I can't like directly like know everybody or have like direct rapport with every single person. But outside of that, you are correct. So Autumn, you said everything's overly emotional. Well, let's see why the whole collective is feeling this part of emotions then, right? So the Queen of Wands, I think one of the, see how fast the autofocus is? Look at that. Ooh. Anyway, sorry. But when the kids did this Queen of Wands energy, right? One of the aspects to this new moon in Cancer is that I think people want to be great. I think one of the things about this new moon in Cancer is that this is really showing people that it's like, yo, I feel like I can do anything, but I don't know where that feeling is coming from. I don't know what that's going to look like. And when people don't know what things look like, we get so taught that like in uncertainty, that means it's not going to happen. So we're like, oh no, we're like, this thing is happening. What's going on with this? And the Queen of Wands is trying to remind you that it's like, you have the ability to press go at any point you want. You have the ability to press, yes, I do choose. Yes, I do believe in myself at any given point. Because the Queen of Wands isn't necessarily worried about the world of emotion. She just knows that she can get the thing done. She knows that she could just pop up and show them and get the thing popping, because she's not waiting for somebody else to emotionally tell her that she's great. She's not waiting for the king to pull up to be like, hey, just to let you know, you have potential. She's like, I've already known that. I've been living this entire time. And we also get taught when we do have these emotions, hey, you should feel this way, or you should feel that way, or you should feel that way. It's like, no. This is about us honoring how we actually feel and where we're actually at and what's really going on. And the better that we do that, the easier everything else is going to start to turn into moving forward. I did forget to say this, but I am going to be also doing mini readings at the end of this live stream. I'm starting up the queue now. I did see a couple of y'all pop up and end up ordering that as well. So just to let y'all know, I am doing many readings at the end of this live stream. I'm going to be going through the signs a little bit quicker today because I do want to make more room energetically for those mini readings in the process. And I do know I've been feeling a lot of change recently, and I don't know how to explain it, but I want to honor it as it's happening, because this is really what the new moon in Cancer is about. It's like the things that may have worked, when your feelings get involved, they might change. And I think this is part of that process. So just want to let y'all know, if y'all want to hop in the mini reading queue right now, this is your time to do it. And we about to pop off in this process as well. So let's get it. All right. So, and the universe keeps asking if you're ready. Yes, it does. And a lot of times it doesn't say anything about it. But you want to know how the universe speaks to everybody? Through how you feel. Because like a lot of people are like, yes, I talked to God. Yes, I talked to the universe. Yes, I talked to this. It's like, did you talk to it? Like, did you? Or did it speak to you through your feeling? Or did it emote something to you as you were asking? That's really the differential with this, right? Anyway, let me get into the signs. Let me get into the cards. I know what y'all came here for. No worries. What does this new moon in Cancer have in store for all the signs? Now, actually, right before I do say that, this new moon in Cancer is a manifestation point. Ooh. I put down the cards and they told me, pick it back up, dog. Look at this. So we have the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is so important because the Knight of Cups is the emotional, I'm going to shoot my shot person. You know, you ever like have somebody, I would say like almost like, not almost like confess their love to you. That's a lot, but also maybe confess their love to you. And you're just like, oh, you know, like maybe you're just not into them. Maybe they're not particularly your type. And there's those people who, when they shoot the shot, they're like, hey, like, I'm showing you my emotions. I love you, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I'm not really feeling it. And there's one or two ways that goes. Either they take it well and they're like, you want to know what? That's okay. You want to know why? Because I find you lovely. And I hope that you still have a great day in any way. And whoever chooses to love you is lucky to be in that position to begin with. I bid you adieu. That's the Knight of Cups at its best. The Knight of Cups on its reverse thing is like, what do you mean? Not me. You don't want me. Which one would you prefer to be? Knight of Cups is like, I would rather feel through the world. I would rather love and loss to never have loved at all. And so this new moon in Cancer just wants to remind you that your feelings are valid. What you're going through is real. Your intuition is trying to guide you back to yourself, but it can't do so through your head right now. So it's not the season for it. It's going to tap in through your heart. And because we're smack in the middle of 2 full moons in Capricorn, this just doubles up in terms of how this is going. So just want to give you that context in the process. All right, now we get into the cards for real. So this is my last call for the mini readings. I'm being a little more strict about that, to be honest with y'all. But this is the last call for the mini readings. Just want to make sure that everyone pulls through who wants to get one. And y'all know how I do when it is time for yours. So let's get through this. We have, for the first, we're going to do the water signs, right? So we're going to start off with Cancer, since this is your new moon after all. Anyway, it's your new moon, you know. So for Cancer, we have the Queen of Swords. And so it's funny to me that I was just talking about all this emotional world and all the feelings and everything else like that. On the bottom of the deck, we have the 8 of Swords. And so I think what's happening, Cancer, is that y'all are tired of overthinking. I think one thing that's been happening for Cancers recently is that they've been overthinking the way that they go about the actions that they do. And it's because the intelligence of your intuition is starting to become more loud than you're used to. And so when you're getting these new messages, you're like, well, it doesn't feel like I should, but you know that you should. And so unlike everybody else in this, Cancer, like where they're like, hey, dig deeper into your emotions, Cancer, you're about to dig deeper into your logical world. And it's not that you're being unemotional, but this is about emotional intelligence. And so your EQ is going to be outweighing the IQ. And kind of going back and forth between, to be honest. But this is really where we get into the kicker of this energy, Cancer, because the Queen of Swords is about direct decisions. So Cancer, I think there's some decisions that you've had to make, and I think that you've actually gotten to the emotional point in that emotional intelligence piece where you're just ready to like do the next part. You're like, okay, like I've done this, I've worked really hard, and now I'm going to see like what's the next step. And that's really what I'm kind of getting for you with this when it comes to this new moon in Cancer specifically. But let me pull some cards. Let me see what else is popping up. This is one more card for Cancer. You also have the Sun card. So honestly, Cancer, y'all are in this really dope position to be able to like tap into what it is that you're aiming for intrinsically based off of your spirit, your persona. Like y'all are on the rise right now. This is your season. Happy birthday to y'all. Happy solar return in that process. But like y'all are really formulating the emotive world and directly knowing what action steps to take to continue to feel good. And that might include you maybe hurting some other feelings in the process. But the point is, it's like, this is about you being sharp about what you want. It's about you being sharp about your ideas. It's about you being sharp about your thought processes, and the rest is going to come to be as it is. So keep that in mind, Cancer, and I hope that that helps. All right, this is going to be for Scorpio. Ooh. Scorpio, look. Scorpio, y'all are feeling a little bit defeated on this new moon in Cancer. I think you had the same opportunity that Cancer is getting right now, but when you got that opportunity to like really kind of be in that position, you decided to use that wisdom to kind of like show and prove. I think one thing that's going on with Scorpio is that like with your emotive side, you're also the emotional warrior in a lot of cases. And so it's like, hey, I figured out how I felt with this. And Scorpio, I think you're realizing the path of, or the trail, I would say, of destruction that you've left in your wake over the past little bit. And I think it actually is making you uncomfortable, which is weird because usually when Scorpio bulldozes something, they're like proud of it. They're usually like, yeah. And then I ruined it, and then we transmuted it, and everything changed, and I was able to help change it. And it was great, and we metamorphosized, and everything I wanted came true. You know, that type of thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about, Scorpio. Don't play me. And then the other side of this, we have the Two of Swords. So it's like, you're in this indecisive point of like, do you continue to like go on this wake of trying to change the world and like destroying parts of it in the process, or are you going to be reaching a different era? Honestly, Scorpio, I think this is a time of meditation for you over the course of this next bit. I think you're rejuvenating parts of yourself that you thought had to be up in arms for a long time. And because of that, you're starting to like genuinely find a place between you taking, again, that organic action and knowing what you feel is right. And so this is about you taking the time out to really know what you feel is right. Because you won the thing, but then again, you're not going to find the abundance you're looking for until you actually look at the destruction that you might have left behind in the process. This isn't to say that this is something intrinsically bad. This isn't to say this is something that's like super deep or like super crazy, but it is something to keep in mind. And I hope that this resonates for one of the Scorpios who are in here right now, because that's really what I'm picking up on for this new moon in Cancer. Okay. So now we got Pisces, right? So for Pisces, let's see what we got. For Pisces, we have the Nine of Pentacles. And I actually really like this for y'all Pisces right now, because it looks as though y'all are actually coming back into your confidence. Because Pisces, y'all have been going really back and forth. Actually, this is because of Neptune retrograde. Just thought about it. I'm about to say, bro, y'all were going back and forth for a hot minute. Someone said they should be taught to meditate at birth. Facts. Honestly, for Scorpio, that's one of the deepest things. Why? Because when you go do that, you dig deep within in a way that's productive and not like I need to force myself down within to take the thing out. That's usually the downside. And all water signs experience this, including Pisces. But Pisces, with this Neptune retrograde again that just happened in your sign, as well as Saturn, this is you actually kind of getting the payment is the wrong word, but your hard work is paying off in terms of like how you have been leading the world forward with our dreams over the course of the last bit. And one thing I have to give Pisces credit for is that y'all do teach us how to dream, how to love, how to move things forward. That's really the case with that in this process, right? So what do we need to look at again for this? Well, underneath the bottom of the deck, you have to know, Pisces, all your dreams and manifestations are already coming true. This is just a matter of like, can you be in a position to help share them with others? I think one of the things, Pisces, is that you have a lot of great things coming, but you're going to want to have to share that wealth. And if you share the wealth, better things come through. When you take the wealth all to yourself, you might feel a little bit more isolated, but Pisces, this is a time for collaboration more than it's a time of you just doing your own thing. So I hope that gives you some context as well, because that's really what I'm feeling with that in this process. So on the other side of water, we have the earth signs, right? So I'm going to go through the earth signs as well. I'm going to start with Capricorn since this is the opposition, because we're in between two full moons in Capricorn. So Capricorn, I know y'all gonna need something. So let's break this down, right? So for Capricorn, what we got for y'all? Capricorn, we have the Judgment card. And so here's what's happening, Cap. In all of your relationship structures and all of the ways that you go about your business and everything else, you're starting to finally feel like this. It's a sense of accomplishment. It could also be a sense of dread, I'm being honest with you, because it's like, oh shoot, my life is really changing in the way that I've set up, in the way that I've pushed for such a long time. And then we have the Emperor card underneath here. And so I think this is one of those situations, Capricorn, where it's like heavy is the seat that wears the crown. In the Black Panther movie, one of the most integral parts that I at least remember is when T'Challa is talking to T'Chaka, and he's like, hey, or no, he's T'Chaka's talking to T'Challa, I apologize. And he's like, hey, it's hard for a good man to be king. He said, it's very hard for a good man to be king, because there are mistakes that get made. There are situations and calls that you're going to make that aren't going to be proper, Capricorn. But this is the reason why I'm bringing this up, is because this isn't something to shy away from. You're going to have to like take the responsibility of all the success or all the downfall. And I think that's not something to break you, but it's something to build your character. This Judgment card is like every Capricorn kind of wants like a final exam in some capacity to see, did I do good enough? Did I really make it to that point? And this is kind of universe's way of being like, hey, like, let's show me what you're made of. You know what I'm saying? So what are you made of, Capricorn? Are you willing to sit in the seat of like actual power that you always wanted to? Or are you going to shy away from it once it does come to you and the seat is empty? Are you going to ignore it? Or is it your judgment call to take up that seat of power that you know that you need? I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. So let's get into this for Taurus, right? All right. So for Taurus, let's see what we got. Taurus, we have the 8 of Wands. And one thing that I have to mention to you, Taurus, is first of all, Taurus, leave that man's, that girl, they, them, whoever is holding you back from your potential. And here's the thing I love about Taurus, but what also drives me crazy about y'all. Y'all are so beautifully stubborn. And sometimes the beauty in your stubbornness, it brings you to be like some of the most lovely, well-built individuals in terms of just like life in general. But this also gives another concept to where it's like, when this big change does come through, you're not going to want to believe it. And this is the problem that's happening, is that like sometimes you're so in it that you're like, oh, there's a change happening. It's like, this is going to be, it might be a deterrent. You might try to deter yourself away because you're like, this doesn't look exactly the way that I thought it was going to look. This doesn't look like what I was building up before. And I'm going to let you know, Taurus, you might have thought that you were building an ark. You might have thought that, like, I'm thinking about Noah's Ark. I'm building an ark to make sure everything's good. And next thing you know, there is no flood that hits. But there's a spaceship that appears, and the next thing you know, you're out in outer space, and you're like, but this isn't anything else that I was planning. This isn't the right thing. This isn't what I was working on. Taurus, everything that you've been building in one thing is going to translate directly into the next thing. When you build one thing, it's going to translate directly into the next thing. When you see this chance for change, take that, because that's going to literally bring you the other part of that abundance that you thought was going when you just went your way. That's what's going to go change, right? So I hope that this gives you some context, Taurus. I hate telling y'all to stop being stubborn for a minute and to like go pick the other thing, because I know that's exactly against your nature. But I think there's going to be a lot of benefit for that during this new moon in Cancer if you do see that opportunity pop up. Try to be as adaptable as you can, and just know all the things and values and core skills you worked on are going to translate over. Just hope that helps. Okay. Virgo. Let's see what we got. I literally got texted by my Virgo homie the second I said Virgo, so I guess we on point. All right, so for Virgo, let's see what we got, yo. Virgo, we have the 3 of Pentacles and also the Hanged Man. So I'm gonna let you know right now, Virgo, there's like a super team that's brewing right now. There's like a super team brewing, and you feel it brewing, but it's not happening on your timing, and y'all are mad about it. Y'all are like, yo, all we have to do is collaborate and put our heads together, and once we put our heads together, everything's possible. The reason why there's something that's going on with, and I just got this, so like you're gonna be building a lot coming up, Virgo. It's going to be coming through, but for one reason or another, the universe is making you just like have to trust in the process in a way that's really annoying. And it is annoying. I'm going to tell you right now, Virgo, if you're annoyed at the way that this is happening, it's annoying. It's mad annoying. It's so annoying. I know an instance right now I can think of. Mad annoying. No reason for it. But this is the part. Because if you can move past the idea of just, again, similar to Taurus, the way that you think it was supposed to go, the way you think it ought to go, this is how that change is really about to happen, right? So y'all got a lot to say about Taurus real quick. Hold on a second. Yep. Okay, anyway, y'all are mad funny. But to get to Virgo again, y'all are still like in this suspension of like, but everything's supposed to work out this, and what are the details for this? The new moon in Cancer wants to have those emotive worlds that, unfortunately or fortunately, kind of rule the way that people move about things. Like, you can't make a rule unless everybody feels like it's a fair rule. You know what I'm saying? So just give it a couple of days, Virgo. I hate to say that to y'all, because again, I know that y'all are workaholics. Like, take a break, take the weekend off. If the banks can have holidays, so can you. Take the bit off. Put your feet up. Do something else. Enjoy your time. Get consumed into a show. Like, I think, Virgo, if there's a show that you haven't watched, you've been meaning to watch every season. That's the type of time that we're on with this. So I hope that helps a bit in this process, Virgo, because that's what's going on with this new moon in Cancer. Okay, so this is going to be my second to last call for any mini readings that y'all want. I don't think there's a lot of mini readings right now, which is completely fine. But just letting you know, this mini reading count. If y'all pull through. Oh, wait, I do have a couple. Okay, cool. But if y'all are pulling through for the mini readings, make sure that you hop in now for the queue, because I'm kind of like in one foul swoop for this. I am thinking about changing the way that this works. As a matter of fact, I do have a question for y'all, and drop it down in the comments before I move on to the next fire and air. Because I know that we don't have like as crazy amount of people in here, but we do have some real ones who do be popping up. So I wanted to ask y'all directly, because, you know, this is a very community-based thing. Would y'all rather have, and this is real talk, would y'all rather have the perfect, detailed, and aesthetic videos that are like 10 minutes long explaining these? Or would you rather have classes on Google Meet? Are we over classes? Do we want to have that? Because the problem that I've been experiencing is that as much as I like live streaming, last week my internet was not trying to let me do the one that I wanted to do for Saturn. Today I started this live stream, and thankfully we have the live chat, or else I wouldn't have seen that there was no sound. So I would be talking this entire time and not know that there was no sound being recorded. And I just want to make sure that things are as streamlined and good as possible, reach people help y'all out. So just let me know what y'all feeling, what y'all thinking. Someone said classes. I'm gonna be asking more people. I'll probably put out a poll on the 5th that I'm gonna put on like all my streams, being like, yo, we voting right now. This is a democracy where voting actually counts. That was a diss to a certain land of the free. But outside of that, let's get to the next part, right? So it's either in-depth videos live or classes, kinda, because it's like, I think for me, I've just been really, and I'm gonna get to air and earth and air and fire in just a second. But I think for me, it's been one of those situations to where like, yeah, you felt stood up, and it's like, that's the problem. Is that like, I was here to do it. Actually, it's over on Instagram. So if you do go to Instagram, it's that. But like at that point, I'm like, why? Like, I don't like Instagram Live like that. Instagram Live's whack. It was cool like 5 years ago. Now I'm just like, I want to make dope stuff to have it hit. So y'all can get like the dopest 10-minute explanation and then some card pulls after that or something. Or I can do the classes where we all sit behind, so all of us would be in like one meet and explain that in the process. And I'll still work on other YouTube videos and stuff. But that's just kind of the thought process I've been having. I've been feeling a lot of need for adjustment recently, and I've been trying to honor the feeling, even though I don't know the end point. So, just to be transparent, that's the thought. People are saying classes. I'll still be making videos. I think more specifically for the new moons and full moons, I just want to know what works best. Because if we do stuff where we're behind and like, or, in the meet and stuff, or Google Meet is what I'm saying. If we're doing Google Meet, I just know I'm going to go off more. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I'm like, oh shoot, like this is mad exclusive. People are here. It gives y'all a chance to talk directly to me about certain things, depending on what's going on. Still checking out the infrastructure. Just an idea as of now, but yeah, let me know. And I'm going to post some polls later on just to like really get that in, but think about that for a sec, All right. So now we about to get over to fire. I'm going to do fire right now, right? All right, so this is going to be for all the fire signs. What's going on for y'all during this new moon in Cancer? Oops, we just got one that fell. This is for Aries. And Aries, here's what we got going on for you right now. Aries, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Judgment card, right? And ironically, as an Aries rising, I literally was just saying this a second ago. I'm not going to lie. I was like, there's just a big need for change. There's just something shifting, and I just don't know what it quite is. But there's a big change that's happening, and like I just don't know what to choose. Like there's just so many options. There's just so many possibilities. But do you see how like even in this process, I didn't force myself to decide on something? Which typically I would. And I think that's weird for Aries, because Aries energy is typically like, no, I'm going to do this and I'm going to go for it. And for the first time in a long time, Aries, I think you're just kind of sitting there like, well, what do I do? Right? Like this, whenever it's a water season, fire signs are like, what's happening? Because typically the things that we could just push through, we're just like, oh, now I got to sit and think about this. And is this what everyone's doing? Is this indecision something that everyone goes through? That's kind of what's going on though, Aries, because there's like a loading. That's the best way to put it, is that it's a loading time frame. Because once that thing finally loads in the way it's supposed to, it's all speed ahead. But like, this is just about making that pivot. So it's about honoring the emotions. And I'm going to let you know there's going to be opportunity that pops up. And you might go through all of them. You might not go through any of them, but don't burn yourself out trying to find the one exact thing to make everything perfect right now. And this is another clap back to me in this process, but that is really what's going on in terms of this Aries. So I hope that helps. Just like take this new moon in Cancer slow. It's going to be like, what do I do? But like, just allow yourself to see the options, because once all of that confusion clears, you're going to be good. Okay. Leo, what we got for you? Leo. Okay, there's two things, Leo. First of all, the girlies are fighting. I don't know why the girlies are fighting. And this is just a term. It might not actually be the girlies, but there's like some type of like bickering that's been going on around you. Maybe you're in it a little bit because Leo don't be shying away from conflict. Like y'all be pretending to sometimes, but like Leo be like about it. So it's like one of the things you did miss Capricorn. Yes, I did Capricorn before. Unless I didn't do Capricorn. No, I did Capricorn at the beginning of Earth. I did do Capricorn. But for specifically Leo, one more time, the idea is, and maybe there's a Capricorn that's kind of beef with you, who knows? But there's the idea when it comes to this 5 of Wands is that like the girlies are fighting, people are bickering, everyone's beefing. The summer is hot, and when it gets hot, people don't know how to act, and because people don't know how to act, Leo, you're like, this isn't the way this is supposed to go. So now Leo's like, we have to make a change. We have to make a difference. I know how to make a difference. I'm going to be the one that makes the difference. True. Or because you could do all that, Leo. You could stop the fight. You could stop the bickering. You could join the side. You can pick a faction, join the party, do the thing, whatever you want to do, Leo. Or you can just go outside and smell some roses and like spend a little extra time in the garden, just having a good time. Or you can just like explore the world, go on a picnic, have a date. Wow, you could just enjoy yourself instead. Your season's coming up next. Do you want to beef with people in the season where you don't have the power like that? You want to beef in like the opposite luminary, like when the moon is popping, you want to start acting all fiery, or do you want to just enjoy the calm before your season when we actually do need all of your help? Like, do you just want to like, wow, let's just explore this? Because that's kind of the dichotomy. So Leo, as much as I'm like half playing with y'all, this is the difference, right? It's like y'all can either jump straight in, or y'all could wait until about July 2nd, 22nd, and then be like, oh, this is my time. And then you can go on all that fire escapade that we need for the rest of the summer. This is still an emotive time, you know? I meditate and I go north. Boom, look at that. Leo, this is time for you to kind of just like enjoy the parts of whatever's happening. You don't have to be center stage in order to do it right now. That's going to be next month. We're going to talk to you next month. And all of that will make sense then. So just want to give you that context. Okay. Sagittarius, let's see what we got for y'all. Let's get it. Ooh. All right, let's go. For my Saggies, what we got? We have Sagittarius. Let's go. We have the 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands. And because we have the 8 of Wands, guess what, dog? You're going to be pushing things forward. There's great change abound. Things will change rapidly and approach the greatest part. That is the nicest way I've ever heard someone say, shut up and go touch grass. You're welcome. I do what I can. You know, it's translation. That's my job. Actually, sidebar, and yes, this is also funny. And yes, I'm sure my Sagittarius will also appreciate this. I saw something before. It was a meme earlier today, and it was honestly funny. But basically, some woman was on a podcast, the bane of all evil. But she was on a podcast, and she was like, hey, so I realize that if a man's talking and he pauses, if I don't talk for 30 seconds, or if I talk in between at 30 seconds in between, I will never truly know what he's feeling. So I spend time and I take 30 seconds, and then somebody clipped it in between. It was like, that's the wildest way that I heard somebody say, I learned how to shut the F up. And I was like, that's hilarious. And I thought that someone in here would at least find this funny. But back to this. We have the 8 of Wands. Big change coming. But here's the kicker, Sag. You gotta like, it's weird because you gotta remember what was the first things that made you happy. Sounds wild when I say it out loud, but it's like you gotta figure out the first things that really made you like happy, that really like gave you a certain sense of understanding, or gave you a certain sense of like wanting to change or wanting to make a difference of some sort. Like one of the aspects in terms of this and the way that this ends up working is that when the great change comes, you're going to have to rely less on your intelligence and really just more on like that childlike wonder. And it's going to feel off-putting because a lot of times it's been like, you have to be more wise or you have to be more responsible. And this is like, what if I just embrace my childlike wonder? What would happen then? Because the childlike wonder in me would just drink water in between and head straight back into talking. No, but genuinely, there is a certain part of wonder that's going to be coming through for you Sagittarius over the course of this next bit. So definitely look for that. Check that out in the process. And yeah, that should be dope. It's looking pretty good, Sag. Just make sure that you just like trust when that big change happens. Just follow it. Trust. Just trust it. Okay. And for my airheads, my lovely air signs, you did see beauteous creatures. I'm playing, stop. I love y'all. All right, so let's get it. So for my air signs, let's get it. We're going to start with Gemini. For my Geminis, let's see what we got for y'all. Y'all in Sagittarius, look, ready? Gemini and Sag said, we finna change. Taurus over there like, I'm changing too. I'll see y'all later though. All right, so here's the thing, Gemini. Y'all are also experiencing this great change, this big yeet of sorts. And the reason why this big yeet, this big change, this big shift is going on is because, like, oddly enough, Gemini, people are about to start listening to y'all. Like, I know sometimes people give Geminis a lot of crap. People give Gemini crap all the time. They're this, they're that, blah, 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 stereotype here, whatever, right? The funny part about this is that it's like this specific, I'm only laughing because I'm just thinking about it. Like this specific, like new moon in Cancer is going to actually, like you're going to say something like as a joke and everyone's going to take you serious. So like be careful, Gemini, because like the stuff that you used to kind of get away with under your breath that like most people would just shrug by or like no one would really hear outside of a few other signs or maybe your friends. Everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, like if you're in a meeting and someone's like, hey, and here's the plan for this summer thing, and you say under your breath, man, that plan sucks. The person, like under your breath, the person's going to be like, then tell me more about why my plan sucks. And you're going to be like, because it's stupid, or like, maybe my plan is stupid. Like, I'm so serious, Gemini. Keep that in mind. Because like you're going to kind of go from feeling like, oh, I'm on my blabbermouth, blah, blah, blah. And then it's going to be like, wait, everyone's like, things are shifting when I say stuff. I was just saying that in jest. Like, I was just kidding. So kind of, I don't want to say be careful about what you say because that's not really what I'm saying, but it is what I'm saying in a very Gemini fashion. But it's more so like, the more that you acknowledge the truth of where you're at, Gemini, the more transformation you get to go to based off what you know that you want. But people are about to listen. They're about to listen in. So you got something important to say, Gemini. Speak your piece. You just had your birthday season. Y'all on it a little bit. Keep it pushing. Hope that helps y'all in that process. All right. So for Libra, see what we got for you, Libra. Boys forward. This is the third to last call for the mini readings after this. Let's get it. So for Libra, what we got for you? Libra, so we have the Three of Hearts. Libra, y'all are going through it a little bit. And the reason why y'all are going through it a little bit is because you're addressing past heartbreak that you have addressed before. But I think the heartbreak portion of what has happened before, there's going to be things that come up to trigger that a little bit. They're going to be revealing new layers of things that you may not have noticed prior. I think the experiential portion when it comes to this, Libra, is like, I think you're mourning an older version of yourself type deal. And in mourning the older version of yourself, I think you're mourning the part of you that didn't know better at the time. And the reason why this is so integral and why I'm even talking about this from such an emotional basis, because underneath that heartbreak, you have a complete pool of perfect manifestation based off you truly embracing these emotive parts to you that you typically find embarrassing, but are actually the parts of you that allow you to charm every single person you come across and want everybody to sleep with you, no matter how you look or what you're going on, just for the fact that you're a Libra. But That's what's going on with y'all. So the main thing about this Libra is like, genuinely speaking, this is like just you addressing the heartbreak and knowing that through that heartbreak is your breakthrough. And that breakthrough happens, and next thing you know, all of those feelings start to make sense. So like, you might feel a little off because you are feeling all those things. That's part of the uncomfortability is what's actually sending you into the masterfulness of your energy that you've always been looking for. So I hope that helps, Libra. And last but certainly not least are my Aquarians. So for the Aquarius who happen to be here, you have a card that has dropped to the floor. Aquarius, you and Scorpio are on something right now. So Aquarius, you did that. You and Scorpio, Aquarius, both you and Scorpio have been out here bullying. Y'all just been bullying. Y'all have been like, but it's weird because with Scorpios, it's like Scorpio crashed out and is now having to recover. Aquarius, the Justice card is underneath here. And so the reason why this is wild is because it's kind of like, hey, you are now getting the permission slip to go crash out, Aquarius. This is like on one end, they're like, they shouldn't have done that. And Aquarius is like, this is your time, pull through. And the reason why is because there needs to be this like odd like rebalancing in the world that you're maneuvering in. Because deep down, Aquarius, you want to find this spiritual balance, this more like integral balance. Like, we're heading into the age of Aquarius. Like, this really y'all time. But people are still kind of being bigoted. People are still in the past. People are still way too old fashioned for their things. People are still like saying stuff that we have truly progressed past. And this is kind of like the odd energetic permission slip for like Aquarius to start being like, you know what? Time to play devil's advocate and let's show them what we got. So one of the things, Aquarius, is that like, y'all are supposed to kind of be pushing the envelope in a way that you're usually comfortable with, but this is like pushing it with a purpose is the best way for me to put it. Like, y'all are really pushing this forward with a purpose, and there's going to be a lot that ends up changing based off of that you're pushing forward, right? Tell my Aquarius, Sun, and Scorpio to chill. I'm feeling reckless. Yo, I'm telling you, like, Aquarius and Scorpio right now, y'all acting a little reckless. I'm not gonna lie. That emotional world, it's hit y'all way too fast. You're like, whoa, I gotta do the most. It's like, don't do the most. But this is like part of the course and something that I do want to point out to y'all. Permission to be provocative and reckless for Aquarius. I'm never going to promote recklessness, but provocative, yes. I'm working on the spiritual side. Odd cards for me. Yeah, because like Aquarius, y'all are so mental that like y'all mental in terms of like the logical world. Y'all are so like, hey, this thing doesn't make sense. That it's like when things are more emotive, you're like, that's BS. This is more so you really taking the spiritual portion of that. And I don't know how to fully word it, but it's going to be way more like of an intrinsic and an internal process, Aquarius, than it is external. So I hope that makes a bit more sense. But it's a really hard one to like point out because like y'all are experiencing just that type of energy right now. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that gives a little bit of context to that. But yeah. So we have gone through all the signs. And I'll pull one last card. It's going to be for everybody. So one last card. This is going to be for everybody. What's the last thing that we need to know about this new moon in Cancer as a collective? If you leave behind the you who didn't know better, the people who disregard your feelings, and those who make you feel bad. And if you can't do it physically, you do it emotionally. If you can't do it emotionally, you do it physically. If you can step away from the stuff that doesn't make you feel well, you have a wealth of emotions and manifestation and potentiality that's coming through. The Ace of Cups is not a slouch. The Ace of Cups is the ace of all water. of all emotion, of all feelings, of all spiritual gifts, of all of those things that come along with it. And when I told you when this started that the new moon in Cancer is the moon rebirthing itself, this is really the chance for you to really claim that cup of power, that chalice of just like pushing forward that emotional truth. And there's going to be so much beneficial for those of us who are able to honor the emotions, temper the emotions, and move through them in the process, because that's our souls giving us the guidance, not just your feelings. That was the secret of it. But if you didn't stay this whole time, you missed out. But I hope that y'all enjoyed. Yeah. Word. Cool. I don't have any other words about this so far. Appreciate each and every one of y'all coming through. Thank y'all for the compliments on the hair, the vibes, everything else like that. Again, I've been working again creatively way more than I was prior. It's been a really fun time. If y'all been on my Instagram page, I've probably seen me tweak out in the studio, just having a good time. And you know, we getting some cool things going, right? But aside from that, I'm about to step into the mini readings in just a second. Thank each and every one of y'all for being in here in this process. Thank y'all for always like being open to me and, you know, the parts of my story that I think might help one of y'all. You know, I never know who watches these outside of like the people who, you know, comment and talk. Like I never really know who this is even going to reach. You know, I've run across people who are all across the world. I bump into people now in person who are like, hey, aren't you an astrologer? I watch your stuff. And I'm like, what? It's a weird time. It's just a weird, it's a weird time, but it's beautiful. And I'm very grateful for it. And yeah, I appreciate y'all for just being a part of like my tribe, whether that be like soul tribe, just vibe, just you trying to learn something, you just staying here for the vibe, you listening to me because of my sultry tone and voice that just happens to be this way. I'm playing. I'm just being weird. But for real, appreciate the love. Thank y'all for popping up in the process. And so here's what I'm about to do. I'm about to read for the mini readings. I don't think there's a lot this time, which is completely fine. All good. I understand. It was just the first or second ago. I just be doing this to make sure everybody got a chance to learn a little bit more if they want to. But I do have two. Let me double check. I'm going in right now. If y'all catch me after the first one, y'all are still allowed in the mini reading queue. If not afterward, then I don't know what to say to you anymore. I'm playing. But let's hop in. Let's see what's going on for this next part to this new moon in Cancer. And let's check this out. So the first that we have is the homegirl Shefali. Oh wait, actually she said something else. So let me point that out. I feel like that's part of the beauty of the lives over the classes. You have a community, but they keep you but you keep creating ripples outwards to others with these lives. Yeah, you're right. OMG, are you gonna cry right now? On the inside, I am for sure. I haven't hit my full YouTube cry yet. I think that's probably gonna be like when I hit like, I feel like when I hit like 50K on here, that's when y'all gonna get the first like real waterworks. I'm talking like Kim K, ugly cry type deal. You know, like still like, hey, like it's a beautiful person. They're just experiencing a really deep seated emotion, you know. That's when that'll happen. And as Hove, my fellow Sagittarian, once said, you couldn't see it coming down my eye, but I had to make the song cry. So maybe you might hear it, but like I have too many Capricorn placements. Y'all not gonna see me do that, or I'm just gonna cry next live stream. Who knows? Really, you know, can't control that. Just gotta honor it as it goes through. But you right, Shafali, you have a point. But anyway, this is your reading, so let's hop into that, right? So for Shafali, let's hop into your mini reading super quick. And so for the new moon in Cancer, let's see what's going on with you. Let me pull a couple of things. All right. We out here. Oh, okay. What's that? All right, let's get it. Blow, blow, Blau Bazinga. We have the Hierophant card at the bottom of the deck for you, Shafali. So like, did I pull this for you last week? I swear I pulled that for you like last week. I could be tripping, but I think I pulled that for you before because like, oh my God. Shafali, you are in a good spot right now. You're in a good spot right now. Oh, whoa. Good for you. Okay, look at this. So we have the Queen of Wands. We have the Nine of Pentacles. Then we have the Six of Wands. You are in a very good position in this new moon in Cancer right now. So let's start off with the past position, right? And I know that you said that there were some people that were like giving you crap before X, Y, and Z. This is you like learning how to maneuver through the BS, right? I think the Queen of Wands is showing up as like the terms of like, I've learned how to maneuver the BS. I know how to show that I'm passionate. I know how to show that I'm capable. I know that I'm making a difference with these things. And on the flip side, we also have this Nine of Pentacles. So this is really like you stopping to smell the roses. And I pulled this for Leo. Did I not? Did I not? You Leo sun, you. Did I not say stop and smell the roses? You had to get the mini reading to hear it again, didn't you? No, but really, like this is you like stopping to smell the roses, taking some time to like spend time with just those you love. Sit in a garden, sit under a tree for no reason whatsoever. Because like what's required. So once somebody comes into the understanding of the royalty that they are, time starts to slow down. It's a weird concept, but it's like time just starts to slow down. It's like, oh, well, I'm already there. So like now my day is more open. I'm not fighting up. I'm not fighting to prove something. This is you like this is literally Leo season. So I have to let you know this is Leo season. This is the full moon in Capricorn and into Leo season. You're about to start campaigning towards all of your goals, all your intrinsic goals, all the things that you thought, like maybe I needed to wait for this, or maybe I'm not good enough for this. All of that is about to change, homie. For real, for real. And this is you like moving that forward. Because why? Because all the moves that you've been making in the past bit were for you to learn, for you to understand deeper the emotional and spiritual world that comes from you trusting yourself, that comes from you honoring the feelings that you have. And this is a change that I at least see for you moving forward, going into this new moon in Cancer time frame. So like, honestly, you are on a perfect track. I love this energy for you. And I think that this is going to be a really powerful time for you to just like continue on to that, because Leo season, you're going to be called to like pop off and show them. So take this Cancer season to literally rest and just love the beauty of the world, because as soon as you get called to march forward, you're going to stomp them out. I'm not gonna lie. So just the queen on the chessboard be chilling for most of the game, and then when it's time, she launched from one side to the next side of the board and they up. So I hope that helps. Yes, so that is what's going on with that. And so we have one more mini reading that I have. We only have two today, which is completely cool. But let's hop in. And this is going to be for Tabitha, right? So much love and light. Same to you. And I know this is your birthday season. Happy birthday. I don't think it happened yet, but happy birthday if I missed it. Happy belated. If not, I do know it's your birthday season. So either way, happy solar return season. Tabitha, let's see what's popping up with you, right? Okay. Tabitha. Bang. 1, 2, 3. Bow. All right, Tabitha, first thing I have to mention to you, you're entering a really spiritual time. This is a very like spiritual type of feeling, and I'm going to be so transparent. It's going to, sometimes when you have this card underneath, which is the Hanged Man, this is when the universe is making you like surrender. And I know surrender is not in your nature, because I do know you have that background. I know that you are the militant one. I'm ready for it. I'm cool. You're not someone who's going to want to wave the white flag, but this is me, you like kind of waving the white flag to the universe for a second and allowing the things to be shown toward you. So recently you've had a big change recently. I don't know what this big change was. I don't know if this was like a birth in the family. I don't know if this was like a financial windfall that occurred, but whatever has happened has led you into accepting the strength of your situation. I think I've also pulled this not too long ago for you in one of our readings that we ended up doing. And a part of the reason why the strength card is so important is because you're really gearing in the strength of the knowledge of what you have been working on in spirituality, what you've been working on in your family world, in your personal life, in your even like the romantic life, if you will. There's been so much that you've been working on that you're finally starting to like feel that, yo, my heart coming first has always put people in a better position than when my duty has, right? And so what's happening is, and this is moving forward after this new moon in Cancer, to let you know, I would take literally this whole weekend, 4th of July weekend, a little bit past that, to really just sit and like analyze what it is that you want to do, what you want to push forward with in terms of like the full and totality of your life. But the reason why this is so critical is because we also have the Chariot card. And the Chariot card is always going to show you that you're able to like do way more than you're capable of. And so with the Chariot card, this is you really leading forward the campaign on like that one thing that you thought was going to be too hard to do. Right? Like, let's say you wanted to get this new job. The Chariot card is you marching in to that new spot with your resume and being like, I could start work today. And then being like, oh, okay, cool. And you're like, what? Like, there's a certain part to like being able to push through the concept of impossibility and being able to come out on the other side with a newfound perspective in this process. So Tabitha, this is a really interesting time frame as you're like growing through the big changes, as you're really accepting the totality of your heart. And then the card of Cancer is the Chariot. You're now expanding on what you conceive as home, what you conceive as the world that you want to be around and to fight for, truly. So you're entering this really cool stage with this Cancer energy, to be fair. And I'm excited to see what's going on for you with that. But yeah, that right there, I think, let me just double check one more time. I think that's all the mini readings for today. Yeah, that's it for today. Cool. Ain't bad at all. So I appreciate you all for showing up. Thank you all for loving this process. Really do appreciate y'all. And yeah, cool. Until next time, I do have a bunch of editing and other stuff that I have to do in this next bit. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you all for coming through. Thank you for rocking with me. And until next time, peace, love, and all that good stuff. Stay beautiful. Get a reading if you had the time frame, because that would be really cool. Okay. All right. My brain has stopped working. I am tired. I am going to go rest. Y'all have a great one. Till next time.